All right, just one more soldering project, then we're done soldering. We need to make 3 reflective sensors. To do that, we need the 2 different value resistors. Remember, they have different color stripes to be different values. And so we need 2 of those, and we need our sensor wire, and we need our reflective sensor. And the first thing we're going to do is take those 2 different value resistors, and we're going to put them side by side like I've got them here, and then twist them together. Just a couple of twists so they stay together real nice, and we get out our soldering iron. This should solder up real easy. Just a little bit of heat. There's not a lot there to heat up, and they will solder together quite quickly. Next, we want to trim off one of the wires, one of those pigtails that's hanging there. We'll just get rid of it all together with the wire cutters. After that, we need to trim the other wire at about 3/8 of an inch or so, like this. The goal here is to get that to go in to the middle of the sensor wire, so the very middle wire, that would be the black wire, and we want the one with the red stripe on it towards the white wire, and the one with the brown stripe on it towards the black wire. Now get out the hot glue and be pretty generous with the hot glue so those hold in place. Next comes the tricky part. We need to take the resistor wire that has the red stripe on it and curve that around so it goes into the hole that the white wire is going into. The resistor with the brown stripe on it, we just want to bend out and leave hanging there, ready for us to solder another part onto it. So when you get there, this should look like this. Bend that around, maybe a needle nose will help that. Next, we take our light sensor, and hopefully you can see here there's one side of it that's got some writing on it. And hold that side up and bend the black wire, the black LED looking thing's wire over to the blue looking LED wire. Bend it over just like that, and this is with the writing side up. And we're going to solder those 2 wires together. All right, just like that. Might want to put this in a vise. I did this without a vise, but in a vise it might be a little easier. But you want those to be connected together. And then we take our wire cutters and cut that. All right, so it should look just like that as we look at it from the side with the writing on it. Next, again, we need to trim these off a little bit. Now, there's a little bump on these wires, and we want to go maybe about 3/8 of an inch again from that bump out to where we snip it off. We need enough to insert it into the sensor wire. Again, same deal. All right. Now, it's real important we get this in there the right way. Just like this. See the blue looking LED, that goes towards the pigtail of the resistor that we left hanging off. The other one goes into the same hole as we had the red resistor wire going into. Last step here, we're going to solder that pigtail we left hanging off onto the lead that is coming out of that blue looking LED, and anything left over we trim it off. So there we go. Now we've got a reflective sensor, and it's ready to go and ready to hook up to our robot. Okay, so one more time, let's look at this. The first step is we twist together our 2 different value resistors, and we put a little solder on that twist area. Then we trim off one of the pigtails that's hanging out. The other one we trim to about 3/8 of an inch. Put that in the middle of our sensor wire, which is the red wire, and we put quite a bit of hot glue on there to hold the 2 resistors in place. Then this is on the top of the sensor wire. The bottom, you can see some brass looking things. Don't put it on that side, put it on the all plastic side of your sensor wire. Next, we bend the one resistor out so just the pigtail hangs there. We're going to be soldering that to something a little bit later. The other wire, that's the one with the red stripe on that resistor, that one we need to bend around and put into the sensor wire that connects to the white sensor wire. So we put that right in there, and later we're going to be adding another wire in conjunction with that wire we just bent around and put in. Okay, so it should look like this in our second step. Next, we take our light sensor, and we're looking at this right now from the side where you can see that writing on the front. And you can see that there's a black-looking LED and there's a blue-looking LED. And we take the black-looking LED wire and bend that over to make contact with the blue LED-looking wire. And we solder those two together. Okay, and this is only the wire that is on the top right now as we look at it with the writing facing towards us. And then we clip off that pigtail that's left over there. Next, we take that sensor and we put it into our sensor wire sockets. And we're looking at it from the bottom here now, and you can see where we soldered together those two wires. Now, those two wires that got soldered together on our sensor, they get put into the black socket of the sensor wire. The one that's left on that black LED looking thing, well, that goes into the white wire socket. And nothing goes into the red wire socket from our sensor. Okay, so it should look just like this as you're plugging it in. Then we turn it over. It should look like this on the other side. And you can see where our final step is here. We need to solder together the sensor wire that's still hanging there and that resistor wire that is still hanging there. We'll take those two, get them real close together, put some solder on there, and that should solder up real easy. Cut off the pigtail, and we're all set to go. We have a reflective sensor for our robot.